Hello and welcome to a new video, and today's we're going to take a look at one of the hardest hitting Pokemon in the current meta. We're going to take a look at Mightyena. This Pokemon, coming from basically having zero play to being now one of the stronger Pokemon generally, it's a bit surprising, I would say. But this Pokemon has access to Sucker Punch, which is now the modern counter, basically. The modern move that everybody wants to run in order to be very strong, even if it's neutral, like you see with Third. But you're also going to have Poison Fang, which is a move that can debuff the opponent's defense guaranteed. So you have Stab, you have the Shadow bonus, you have a move that drops the defense, and you have a lot of attack with one of the strongest fast moves in the game. And this is the reason why Mightyena, a Pokemon that hasn't seen any play previously, is now very solid. Already for like a few seasons at this point, but I actually have never tried out. This was the first time for me actually building this Pokemon. I tried out before though, actually like a few days ago for one set, and I didn't really enjoy it in the Open Great League. And so I was like, I'm gonna try to play this here in this meta, and let's see how this is gonna go. Mightyena is a Pokemon where you need to be a bit aware though on how to play it. It's a bit more of a not so straightforward Pokemon, because you don't have a lot of bulk at your hand, and you have like basically two different options. Do you go for the debuff, or are you gonna go for the crunch? Crunch is gonna be more damage, has a 20% chance also to debuff the opponent's defense, by the way, so it can still trigger that, which you see literally here. Or are you gonna go for like the safe play and go for the Poison Fang and just get the guaranteed debuff, but if they let the move go, you don't do that much damage. And so it's sometimes a bit more of a guessing game there on what you want to go. Here, I want to go for a Rock Tomb against that Talonflame. There's not really a guessing there. But as you can see, we're going to have still a very solid answer in the back with our Clodsire, which will be able to reach very, very soon a Stone Edge against this Pokemon. Fly is coming through, is going to get some shield from us here. And we're going to go even for another shield because they're a boosted Talonflame, I think, at this point. And I kind of want to just get rid of this Pokemon. They tried to catch the move, it didn't work out, into the Dunsparce. I am going to be able to go for the Earthquake here. Earthquake should not be enough to knock them out from this range even. The Dunsparce is quite a strong Pokemon. And as you can see, I'm going to swap out into my Mightyena. Was that a smart play or not? We will find out shortly. Is they going to go back into the Talonflame? Let's see. They are going to go into a Gyarados. And that Gyarados, we'll see on how much damage a Crunch is going to do. Yeah, that did quite a bit, I would say. And now the Talonflame also doesn't really enjoy Mightyena that much. So yeah, you see already why Mightyena is on this team, why I want to take a look at Mightyena, because if you put this Pokemon into the correct position, this thing can be quite, detrimental there. The thing for this Pokemon though is, I think if this one would have got a 35 energy charge move, it would be 20 times better. And the case that this Pokemon doesn't have this charge move, it makes it sometimes a bit clunky for its own good, because basically, if you are a squishy Pokemon, there's two things that you kind of want to have. One thing is like a good fast move, which generates energy fast, as well as does some solid damage, which Sucker Punch is absolutely the best move that you can actually have as a Shadow Pokemon, in my opinion. The other thing though is you want to have a cheap charge move in order to be able to pressure shields, as well as just generally get to those moves and do some damage fast, because you're not going to have a lot of staying power with a Pokemon like Mightyena. And here, Poison Fang sometimes just doesn't do the job, in my opinion. Sometimes just doesn't do the job. Of course, here, for example, we're going to go down. The Rock Tomb is coming through. It's going to knock us out. Sometimes it's just not doing enough. And that is a little bit of a problem, in my opinion, for this thing in a few of those battles. This being said, of course, Mightyena is still a very strong Pokemon. It still worked out quite well. And it doesn't mean that this Pokemon is bad. But basically, the reason why Mightyena isn't further up in, for example, even the rankings, is just that you are having that one issue that you don't have a 35 energy move, and with that, you're just going to be a bit too clunky sometimes. But also a bit too clunky is the opponent here, because they went for an extra fast move, which allows us to go for a Stone Edge to knock them out, and with that, we win the battle straight away. So 3-4-3 so far. Can we continue this streak? Let's find out. We have a Gyarados against us. This is going to be interesting as we swap out into our fortress. By the way, I have plans. It's going to take still a little bit. I hope maybe next week, but mostly even a little bit longer. I would like to start streaming again. Would you be interested in this? I very likely will only stream on Twitch. This is my idea, at least currently. But if you are interested in this, then let me know down below. I don't know how many people are going to be too interested in this, but there's always a link to Twitch down below as well. I haven't been streaming, I think, on Twitch for like 2 years or 3 years at this point, but it's where I started actually doing content creation for Pokemon GO PvP. I kind of want to go back a little bit to the roots there because I kind of would like to have a little bit more community engagement there as well, because I kind of missed it with YouTube videos. So yeah, if you're interested in this, let me know down below. But yeah, it's at least something I have in plans. I want to do this before already, but I feel like I'm kind of now in an environment where I could do that. So that's kind of something that I am looking forward to, especially because I kind of want to record sets, of course, as well for those videos. And if I sit there now and do a stream, or if I sit on my own just do the battles, I think I'd just rather go and sit on the stream with that. Anyway, here we make a mistake. If I went for the crunch, I would have done a lot of damage. I would have knocked them out. Now we are in a position where they can farm us down. If I went for the crunch, I think I would have won this battle instantaneously, but I expected the opponent would want to use a shield here instead, but they didn't, and that was a great play by the opponent. And even if I went for double poison thing, I think I actually would have won this battle as well, because then they would have been debuffed and I would have got more damage against them. That's kind of hilarious. So like, I kind of misplay this quite often. Here, this looks like a misplay, but it is actually not really that much mattering, because the opponent is going to be not in range of an Earthquake at this point yet either. Alright, Steelix. Steelix actually doesn't have a charge move to hit me. It doesn't. Like, it has Crunch and Psychic Things 99% of the time. So there's nothing really I'm too worried about, but I'm still going to swap out into my Fortress here, which takes the Crunch, because I think it's still most likely does less damage, which is kind of funny. As you can see here as well, we are going to have the charge move going through. It's going to be the Rock Tomb. This is going to be interesting here. We're going to try our best to go for another Rock Tomb straight afterwards. Let's see on how this is going to go. We have the charge move going through against this one here. The Sky Attack is going to get shielded, and we're going to be able to now debuff the opponent. This is kind of perfect. As you see as well, we are going to have here now the Steelix coming in. We're going to try our best to go for a Stone Edge against the opponent. It's going to be enough to knock them out, I think, from this range. This is going to be quite interesting, as now we are going to have here the opponent just, we can let the move go. This is going to be perfect for us. And the Sky Attack is coming in. We're going to be able to let this move go through here as well. And with that, we can have now, again, the swap into the Mightyena, farm them down. We have 3 Pokemon against 1. It's a Fortress. It's actually one of the worst possible Pokemon that I could imagine. This is going to be actually quite a bit awkward, because this is kind of, yeah, here in a position where we have to go for the Stone Edge, and we have to hope that I still get to another move here, but I still have a shield. So I should be alright. The opponent realizes as well, and we're going to be fine here. It is the awkward Fortress against the Mightyena. It depends on what fast move they have. Here they have Volt Switch, which is the more common seen move here in this current meta. This is definitely way more common. And with me getting the shield here, I am out of here. Mightyena did its job, didn't get us an advantage. In this case, both health as well as shield advantage, but the opponent has the energy advantage. That's the thing as well. Those advantages are kind of always there and always kind of flowing. It's not stable. It's not that like one person has like this and then that's kind of it for the game. They're all kind of floating around a little bit. So yeah, for example, now the opponent has a bit more the switch advantage because they locked themselves into a matchup here. That is very good for them. They could even knock me out there, but now I'm going to be able to have a shield advantage and a fast move pressure advantage, I guess, against the Quagsire, which will allow me to hopefully fully farm them down. The issue here is, though, they still have the other Pokemon in the back, and they are swapping into the Fortress now. That was very clever by them. And the other issue is, I have my Clodsire in the back. Where do I bring my Clodsire in? And so I decided to actually go into my Clodsire here. While this doesn't make too much sense maybe straight away, they still have the Quagsire. I am not going to be able to really get rid of all of the Pokemon at the same time, so this might be a misplay. Maybe I should have went for a short move earlier with my other one, with my Mightyena there, but I was thinking I might still get to the Stone Edge. I just don't get to the Stone Edge in time. Can I farm them down? I still have a ton of energy here against the opponent, and it turns out there's going to be the Altaria in the back. I was thinking now, in hindsight, I should have went for the Crunch first, because they're definitely going to no-shit the first one. And if I went for Crunch first, I would have done most likely around like 50+%. Then I could go for 2 Poison Fangs afterwards. But actually, I am actually able to get to another Poison Fang here. I would have not been able to get to this Poison Fang anyway, no matter what, if I went for 1 Crunch before. So I think it was kind of alright the way it went. Now we can move on to the next opponent, where we face the worst possible lead for this team. We have here the hard wall against us as well. And I guess that's kind of the honest truth. You've seen a lot of very good leads, like very good battles here in the beginning for this Pokemon, for Mightyena. Mightyena does do a lot of damage. But honestly, maybe it's the team. I've seen other people run teams with like weak to tough Mightyena core, where like, yeah, you can run this, but It wasn't really the ones that I wanted to run. I really didn't want to run Wigglytuff again. I just, like, I like Wigglytuff in certain teams, and I like it in certain metas, but I kind of try to avoid this a lot of times just for you guys. But then again, I would like to make the cheapest team possible for this meta, where Wigglytuff is most likely part of it. But a lot of times I just didn't have good alignment with this Pokemon. I have to say this as well. Like, what am I going to do against the Racconet with our Mightyena? I'm just not going to have any chance against this Pokemon with my Mightyena, and that is alright to notice. Here I showed most no shield at the first one. I know it's just a guessing game again. It's just a guessing game. We don't know what they're going to go for. If they go for Bubble Beam, of course, it barely does any damage. Here I try to catch the move next, which turns out to be also a bit of a silly play because the opponent just plays it perfectly as well. Like, I don't want to take like the credit away from the opponent here. They basically play every matchup perfectly here, and this is something that I kind of have to acknowledge as well. They did this great. They did this really, really well. And as we will see as well, we're just going to be able to let this move go. This is going to be the Water Pulse. And we have here now the Dedenne coming in, which is a very good matchup for us, but we're kind of getting into the range now where even just a charge move here, a Play Rough, is going to be enough to not knock us out directly, but gets us into the range where they can knock us out anyway. And so, yeah, it is kind of sadly how it is, but this is going to be fine. We are going to be able to get the KO here, and we can move on to the next one. So, let's see here. We are going to have, here the Mightyena against Mightyena. What a final matchup for today. This is going to be basically the best mirror matchup that you can ever see. We're going to go for the poison thing here as well. They decided to go, like, they have a higher attack one, so they got theirs off first. They decided to shield, and I'm actually alright with it. What I'm not alright with is the Gastron now. And this is the one issue for this team, and I kind of wanted to say as well. This team kind of struggles a bit against those Mud Boys in the back. Because you have a Volt Switch user here, which is able to bait it out, which is going to be great. But honestly, for this team, if you want to run this team, I do think this team is actually great if you have a Murkrow on the lead. I think Murkrow would have made so much more sense for this team. I think it would have worked so much better as well for this team. But like this, we just don't really have the options here. We are now shields down. But luckily, the worst Pokemon for us to deal with, they're all kind of low, which is kind of good. Like, this is kind of nice for us at least. We're going to get the shield here very like. Oh, we don't actually get the shield. We're going to get the damage here against the opponent's code as well. But this is going to be now the end game. And I have to say, like, I'm always honest in my videos for every kind of aspect of a team as well. I do think like this, I wouldn't recommend you to run this team if you want to climb. I think if you want to climb, you would need to change the lead a little bit, because I don't think that Mightyena is up to date in order to deal with the meta in this team and take basically charge of those ground type Pokemon where you need to have help with. And that is the main reason why I do think that this is maybe, you need a team where Mightyena doesn't need to do that much, where Mightyena can just be a neutral Pokemon. So if you want to run Mightyena, I would maybe even recommend you something rather like the Wigglytuff Gaston backline with it. I think it would make more sense. Here we still win the final battle. But yeah, that's going to be it for this video. What do you think about Mightyena? Let me know down below. Would love to see your opinion, and I will see you then. Bye bye.